India must stop buying Russian oil or face dire consequences. Former RBI Governor Raghuram Rajan's warning. Just imagine, it's midnight. The tall buildings of Delhi's North Block are still lit up. Exhausted government officials keep their eyes fixed on reports. And across the Ministry of External Affairs to the Ministry of Finance, one question hangs heavy in the air. Should India continue buying oil from Russia? Outside, raindrops are falling. But inside the rooms, the atmosphere is burning hot. Suddenly, a name echoes, Raghuram Rajan. The former RBI governor, known not just as a banking expert, but as an economist whose words are taken seriously by the world's most powerful leaders. And now, he has warned India, excessive dependence on Russian oil is dangerous. If circumstances change, the consequences will be severe. How and why this could unfold is what we'll explore in depth today. But before that, if you're new to our channel, don't forget to subscribe so that you get all our latest updates first. So, without any delay, let's begin today's discussion. Raghuram Rajan's warning has come at a time when tariff tensions between India and the US are at their peak. US President Donald Trump, by imposing tariffs of up to 50% on Indian exports, has sent a clear message that international trade is no longer just about money. It has become a weapon of politics and pressure. In this heated environment, Rajan's statement stands like a mirror before India's policymakers. Rajan has clearly said that the temptation of cheap oil from Russia could push India into a major crisis in the future. He warned that if Russia were to face tougher sanctions, or if the course of war were to change, India's energy security could be at serious risk. At that point, the pressure on India's economy would be so severe that managing it would become extremely difficult. Today, India is the world's third largest consumer of oil. We import nearly 85% of our oil needs. Earlier, these needs were met primarily by Gulf countries. But after the Ukraine war, Russia began selling oil at discounted prices, and India seized the opportunity to buy in bulk. Refinery companies imported this cheap oil, refined it, and exported it to Europe and other Asian nations, making billions of dollars in profit. On the surface, it looked like a brilliant deal. India bought cheap, sold high. But Rajan's argument is different. He says that while refinery companies are enjoying windfall profits, the rest of the economy is suffering the consequences. In an interview, he said, "We must understand who is really benefiting from this and who is losing. Refinery companies are making excessive profits, but our exporters are taking the hit of American tariffs." And this is true. The US has imposed heavy tariffs on many Indian products, textiles, shrimp, and steel. Small exporters, on whom millions of jobs depend, are now falling behind in the international market. The tariffs that came into effect on August 27 are among the highest duties ever imposed on Asia. Their direct impact has fallen on Indian exporters' costs. Their competitiveness has dropped, and their position in the international market has weakened. This situation is a warning bell for both India's growth rate and employment levels. Rajan's point is clear. If the benefits of buying Russian oil are not significant enough to help the entire nation, then the government should reconsider continuing it. Because overdependence on any single partner is always dangerous. He said, in today's global order, trade, investment, and finance are being used as weapons. In such a scenario, India must take decisions with extreme caution. There is another layer to this warning. Rajan's statement also aligns with the pressure coming from the US from day one. The Trump administration wanted India to stop buying oil from Russia and instead look for alternatives in the Gulf, Africa, or even the US. America's argument is that India's purchases are prolonging the Ukraine war. US think tanks and advisors have repeatedly accused India of profiteering by refining Russian oil and selling it at higher prices. White House trade advisor Peter Navarro went as far as saying that Indian refineries are fueling the Ukraine war. He accused India of buying more oil than it actually needs, calling it nothing but a profiteering game. These allegations have only deepened the tensions between India and the US. But India's stance is just as firm. The Modi government has made it clear that it will not bow to any pressure. India's argument is straightforward. Europe continues to buy Russian gas. China continues to buy Russian oil. So why should fingers be pointed only at India? India has accused the US of discrimination and has said that it will keep buying oil based on the needs of its citizens. This standoff is not limited to energy alone. Its impact is being felt across the entire trade landscape. While American tariffs are squeezing Indian exporters, refinery companies are making profits. The real question is, where does the balance lie for the country? Rajan's suggestion is that India must diversify its energy strategy. Trade with Russia should continue, but it should not become total dependence. At the same time, alternatives in Europe, Africa, and even the US should remain open. This advice is crucial because history is proof whenever countries have placed excessive reliance on a single source, crises have shaken their foundations. In the 1970s, the oil embargo by Gulf nations rattled economies across the world. India cannot afford to repeat the same mistake today. Rajan said, we must not become overly dependent on anyone. Trade, investment, and finance have all become weapons. We need to diversify both our supply sources and our export markets. His warning is not just for today, but for the decades to come. Here lies another interesting angle: the politics behind America's tariff policy. For Trump, a trade deficit simply means America's loss. He has turned tariffs into both a tool for raising revenue and a weapon for exerting pressure in foreign policy. For India, this is like a double blow. On one hand, pressure over oil. On the other, a direct hit on exports. Rajan has said that India should view this crisis as an opportunity. It must strengthen its position in global supply chains, improve ease of doing business, and boost the competitiveness of domestic firms. Only then can India sustain a growth rate of 8 to 8.5% and create jobs for its youth. For India's small exporters, especially shrimp farmers and textile manufacturers, the situation is extremely challenging. American tariffs have struck directly at their livelihoods. Rajan noted, this move is harmful even for American consumers. They will now have to buy goods at higher prices. In other words, people in both countries are losing in this trade war. Since February this year, relations between India and the US have been under constant strain. Ever since Trump announced tariffs of up to 50%, trade talks between the two nations have come to a halt. India has said it will not bow down, while the US insists that India is not playing by the rules. Amid this tug of war, the biggest question remains, what will be India's next move?
For us. If you have any questions or suggestions, please let us know in the comments. It will be our honor to answer your questions and listen to suggestions. And yes, if you like our content, subscribe to the channel and press the bell icon so that you stay connected with every new story. Thank you. GRT Business YouTube channel sources, news from various news agencies, opinion polls and other public sources. We try to ensure that every report and summary is accurate and verified, but we are not responsible for any dispute or error. Our aim is only to provide you with accurate information.